Guys, I miss Chris.
He's dead. That's why we're doing this scary story night, everyone.
No, we're not.
Part,
He's not dead.
Part 1. Series
He's not
1.
dead, you fucking liar.
Season 1.
You're exploiting a non-existent death to get more views, you sick son of a bitch.
Episode 1. Resurrection.
What are you talking about?
That's the name of this episode.
Why?
Because, Day of the Living Dead Resurrection.
I'm not gonna question you anymore.
We should now get to the stories.
Why not?
So our first story is The Wheel of Dublin. It just made me feel stupid.
Is it British?
I don't know. For about a month in 2010, I helped out at The Wheel of Dublin. It was an awful job, seeing as no one was really interested in riding it. The only people that would ever
wants to ride a wheel?
It's a Ferris wheel.
Who the fuck wants to ride a Ferris wheel? They're dangerous.
They kill children.
They do.
The only people who ever ride it were groups of people, tourists, and families.
Wait, can you repeat that? The only people who would ever ride it are groups of people?
Groups of people, tourists, and families. Okay.
The only people who would ride it are people.
They're right.
No animals.
Animals don't go near that shit.
They're not allowed.
My job was to take their money, help them onto their car, and show them how to use the buttons inside it. But most of the time,
wait. What would their fucking buttons do? The buttons go outside the Ferris wheel in order to make it go. Is there a light show inside the cars?
We've only got a paragraph into this story, Zach.
I know, it's fun.
I'd be sitting there, bored out of my mind. Oh yeah, audience, quick little tidbit. If you actually want to hear these stories without commentary, not the place.
Yeah.
It's not the place at all. I had a friend, Mark, who lived nearby.
He would
walk in... What?
Oh, hey, Mark.
He would walk his dog around the docklands and bring me a coffee. It was the high point of my day. After about 2 weeks of working there, I noticed every day at noon a man dressed in a white shirt, a waistcoat, and black trousers would stand beside the teddy bear sculpture for exactly an hour. It happened every single day. I asked one of my coworkers, Josh, the awesome, who had worked there for about 2 months, which was all the time he was there and had no idea what I was talking about. I feel like I just botched that sentence.
You know what, it's probably botched for you.
Possibly. That fella, the one who's always beside the teddy bear, I said to him, he just looked at me like I was crazy.
No southern accent.
I was starting to think maybe I was going mad. No, southern accents are very prevalent in England.
No, they're not.
Yes,
where are you getting your information from?
The internet.
Well, that is always right.
One horrible rainy, dark day, I asked Josh if I could get a coffee. I don't think Mark will be out today, I told him. He said okay. Instead of getting a coffee, I waited behind the teddy bear sculpture. Sure enough, the man appeared and I walked right over to him. Excuse me, but are you all right there, sir? I asked. No reply. I tapped him on the shoulder and nothing happened. 3 tourists dressed in those stupid raincoats, ponchos approached me. You all right yourself? One asked me. Yeah, just asking your man some... He was gone. I ran back to the wheel. Where's your coffee? Josh asked me. Well, the line was really long, so I just left. I replied. How could he have just left? I asked myself. Yes.
Unless the man is Mark.
The man is Mark. I made a plan to take a picture of him.
Fucked his girlfriend.
Oh, I knew it. Bastard.
And now he doesn't want him to touch him.
I made a plan to take a picture of him the next day to prove to everyone I wasn't mad. When he appeared the next day, I took a picture of him with my phone. When I went to check it, I was shocked. It was red, and the man was there. Next to him lay a dead woman. They both seemed...
That doesn't even make sense.
They both seemed to be staring into my eyes. Then my phone shut off. When I turned it back on,
I forgot to charge it.
I had about 10 new messages. No using your phone here, called Josh. When I was at the bus stop, I started reading the messages. She left me. You wouldn't leave me, would you?
Yes,
One read, it was starting to make sense now. He was probably vengeful towards women in the picture, so he killed her. Was he saying I was next?
You're jumping to conclusions, sir.
I had no idea. That Saturday, my friend Mark came to the market that was on besides
my friend Mark. Wheel. Why can't you say next Saturday Mark came to the market?
He is also my friend. Let's clarify that point.
I have 2 friends named Mark.
He tied his dog near the Teddy statue. I said I'd watch over him. At noon, the man came and stole his dog, and I pursued him until he was cornered in the alleyway. Yeah, what a dick. The dog was gone. Then the man looked at me right in the eye. His face looked awful. All the skin had been ripped off. You're next, he mouthed to me. After that, I handed in my notice. I was glad when the wheel was taken down in the winter of 2011, but the Teddy statue was still there. I tried to avoid going past it. Thank God I live a good bit away from it. Thank God I live a good bit away from him. End scene.
If he can move away from the bear, couldn't he just, go to his house and, murder him?
Yeah.
I just put a hole in their story. Not really a hole. More like a lapse in logic.
Now, Zach, your story.
Okay. The Midnight Snatcher, spelled MID-NIGHT.
Perfect. 10 out of 10.
Can't even spell the title correctly.
No, that's what the author intended.
Or maybe he's just stupid.
No, that's what
why would you put mid the night? In between night? I'm not following this logic. Alright, but during the Great Depression, in the U.S., as you know, it happened everywhere else as well.
No, this is America.
People didn't have jobs or money to support themselves or their families. I didn't know what that was a fucking depression was.
I thought everyone just was really depressed, all emo-ish.
Yes, and they would cut themselves with razor blades.
That's what I
in other
believed.
words, food and supplies were scarce during those times. Every time a child would whine that he or she was hungry, the mother or father, instead of comforting them and say that don't worry, things will be fine later on, told them a story about a creature named the Midnight Snatcher that would steal children at night and cook them in a giant pot in his lair.
Cthulhu?
Because, parenting.
Cthulhu.
There was a boy named Billy.
Is that the end?
No, I was just pausing his name. Billy, stupid.
It's okay.
He thought the story was bullshit, so he decided to go to the sewer with a couple of his best friends and prove to everyone that the Midnight Snatcher... He's in the paragraph beforehand, he didn't put the dash in between Midnight Snatcher, and now in this paragraph he put the dash in. It doesn't... You can't... It's like if John Carpenter made his movie The Dash Thing.
Continue the story,
or
Zach.
The Exorcist.
Actually, send me the link. This is Midway, people.
I'm not gonna send you the link. I'm gonna read it.
Yes. No.
On their way to the main sewer line, 3 of Billy's friends chickened out and ran away. Billy called them pussies. He forgot a comma. Billy called them pussies and proceeded to the main sewer with his remaining friend, Chuck.
His name is Chuck.
Name's fucking Chuck. Oh, Chuck Norris, but he can be named whatever the hell he wants.
His name is Chuck, shut up.
They get inside the sewer and Billy swears he hasn't put a single comma on this entire goddamn page. He sees something and goes after it. Chuck stays behind. 15 seconds later, Chuck hears Billy screaming for help. He follows the scream. He follows Billy's voice until he finds him in a cage, being lowered into a giant pot of hot water and... First of all, where do you get vegetables when you're in the sewer? and second of all, why don't you just put them in the pot instead of just lowering a cage into it? Save time cleaning your cages.
Extreme cooking.
Or purchasing your... Well, maybe he has a cage fetish. Billy tells Chuck to forget about him and go home and tell everyone that the mid... Now he has the mid in the night capitalized.
I can tell this guy's smart.
Tell him the Midnight Snatcher is real. Then when Chuck turned around, he saw him. He was wearing a black trench coat and a dusty Pandora. A dusty Pandora? What?
Avatar. James Cameron, I knew you would be here. I'm pretty sure
that's not a hat. That's a fedora. And he was 7 foot tall, and he flashed them. He flashed them with all his might. But before Chuck could say a word, the Snatcher picks up a brick and bashes it in his skull. Then
Don't he takes you Chuck mean?
And throws him in the cage with Billy and presses the button that starts to slowly lower the cage into the bubbling pot. The Midnight Snatcher laughs and says tonight he will feast. Sadly, Billy and Chuck are boiled to death by the Snatcher and consumed. Or they couldn't tell. 15 years later, the police later found the two boys' bones in the sewage treatment plant with a note saying, "Long live the Midnight Snatcher, long live the new flesh."
Okay, did you just make up that ending?
The long live the new flesh was from me, the rest of it was from the story.
Okay. If you notice, audience, we're going to do references to things like Videodrome, because those are actually good things compared to what we're doing.
His misuse of capitalization and correct grammatical structure is almost incredible.
Too good for you?
Too good for me.
Too good for him. Okay, so yeah, here's the next one. Industry Giant, The Dark Side. Industry Giant is a strategy game released in 2002 by Joe Wood, which puts you in the role of a multi-millionaire businessman and having cities where to sell products and settle a wide market. Practically, the game centers into capitalism.
Ooh, so fun where you sell markets and shit.
I would play it. Into capitalism and its beautiful utopia. In those cities, all people seem to be rich, stupid, materialistic, and ignorant.
Ignorant?
Yeah, whatever that word.
Ignorant.
They're rich because somewhat they can afford all of the crap you sell them, except if some crisis drives them away of some type of product. The materialist because the next in-game month, the consumers buy your crap are the same. This would lead to think alternatively that all people are compulsive hoarders. They are stupid and ignorant.
Who's writing it definitely doesn't have an opinion of his own upon people or things.
Ignorant because the only way their cities have a cultural center or university is that you donate it out of your own pocket. Plus, that books are the hardest product to produce and sell. This is a concept of a game where you sell stuff to people, and then the same people come back next week.
That's like being one of the fucking, like, market runners in Skyrim, but without the constant threat of being stabbed in the forehead.
But the hardest thing to sell in the game are books. Also, there is a huge flaw in the game's logic. You can, in-game, sabotage your rival by destroying parts of the cities they control, and yes, you can demolish cities, other buildings other than those belonging to your rivals.
Wait. So books are hard to sell?
Yes.
Is it because they're not adapting to the current technological market?
My current technologies cannot compare to these books.
You mean to these... I leave it here.
The game implies that with enough money, you can mangle the landscape to make flat the territories in order to build your factories, roads, and railways. The wood, being the only natural resource, turns out to be a non-renewable resource, while plastic, diamonds, and metals, gold, silver, copper, and aluminum, are infinite. Also, after a while, the landscape becomes crowded of cities, factories, roads, and railways. You are an in-game son of a bitch to their world's environment. And the cities where you built malls, shops, and stores are cities with monuments, landmarks, streets.
This game seems overly complicated, boring, and somehow awesome at the same time.
The most important, the buildings, even the skyscrapers, all those are buildings entirely of flats and apartments with people living in them. Each time you demolish those buildings for either installing your fancy mall in the city or implement the sabotage strategy on your rivals, you're evicting a lot of people. As the great businessman controlling large amounts of money, you're both dooming your people and having a foot in the tomb. The end. How was that a creepypasta?
It's creepy if you're afraid of bad video games.
If you're afraid of capitalism.
Oh god, I'm scared.
Too scary for me. Too realistic for me. That's what I do for me. That's what I do every day.
Oh my god, I'm trying to fucking find one. These are goddamn so long.
I have to look for a new one now, because you didn't look for one.
I've been looking for one this entire time. Wouldn't this be better with, like, multiple people?
No. No, we are the only ones who can tell the spooky, scary stories. Known as creepypastas. As I sit here hitting the... Okay, then go. Do it. Do it. Do it.
It is called... By the way, edit out our pauses.
Nope.
Okay. Paranormal experiments. They're paranormal. Leave fun. A few years back, my best friend Paul and his little brother, Mannheim? Okay. Who would name their child that? But you could just call him Manny.
No, that it's a realistic name. You
used
just
to really be into the super... I think he just spelled supermarket Joel. I don't even care.
I don't even care.
They buy all those books with scary stories and look up bizarre articles on the net. Always make... Who calls it the net?
I'm on the net right now, guys. Hold on.
I'm on the net currently. Cannot be bothered. Always making sure to try out whatever the characters did and see if it really worked. For example, the whole Bloody Mary thing in the bathroom. It seemed like no matter how hard they tried, though, none of them, it would ever... What type of structure is that?
Too scary for me.
They never experienced any sort of supernatural phenomenon at all. One day, Manny came home from school early and typed ways to anger spirits into Google. Who does that? Who does that?
I'm just like, gotta summon a succubus, guys.
Usually he did everything with Paul, so it was quite unusual to do something like that by himself. Especially since he was a scaredy cat. Scaredy cat, scaredy cat. He spelled scaredy cat wrong.
Bitch. Slut.
He clicked on the first hit, which said, the number one way to get an anger spirit is to trick your mirror spirit by pretending to be asleep and then letting What? Doesn't even make sense.
Your brain just went stupid.
That's not even possible. The number one way to anger a spirit is to trick your mirror spirit, never referenced before in this entire story, by pretending to be asleep, then lifting 4 fingers. Your mirror double should be holding 3. After doing this, however, you can never turn your back on a mirror again.
Genius.
What?
Genius. Pure genius over here.
He lay down in a bed in an attempt to trick the spirit. It's unknown whether or not he succeeded, because when Paul returned home, Manny was nowhere to be found.
Beep, 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 beep.
We must have searched for him for a whole week, filed missing persons report, and visited every house in the neighborhood. Before Paul's parents noticed that Manny's bedroom mirror was missing. Wait, did their parents not do anything?
Oh, my son's gone.
It didn't bring up the parents doing anything, and it took them that long to apparently notice that they're to go in their son's room.
Honey, I just realized
maybe he ran away.
The mirror is missing. I don't know where it went. It's gone.
I decided to try and find the mirror. for them while they were out looking for Manny. I must have searched every nook and cranny in that room before finally giving up. Exhausted, I sat down and thought to myself, where the hell did a 13-year-old boy run off to with a 4-foot-long mirror? Thought that came to me. Maybe this has something to do with those stupid paranormal experiments. Damn kids and their paranormal experiments.
I called up Zach, the one from Ghost Adventures, and he was all like, show the ghost your power.
Launch yourself in the mirror. Present yourself to them. Flex your muscles.
Take your pants off. Show dominance. Piss on it.
Take me, ghost. Take me. Naturally, I went to his computer and looked at the last thing he clicked on. It was, of course, an article for pissing spirits off. Did nobody check that before? Not even the detectives who were apparently investigating him being missing.
The chill
flowed through my entire body as I realized he must have been taken by some sort of evil entity. And the answer must lie wherever the mirror is. I was freaking out at this point. But I also had to go to the bathroom, so I hightailed it. There. Who the hell says half these words?
I hightailed it out of there.
Scaredy cats.
I hightailed it out of there.
Well, there I happened to. This is gonna be the stupidest thing you will fucking hear in any of these, by the way. Well, there I happened to glance over in the tub and noticed Manny's mirror in the tub, where his parents apparently didn't look.
Honey, who put this mirror in the tub?
Honey, where's his mirror? Wait, where does this kid usually keep his mirror?
Hang out
in the bathroom. So did they just like not look at the tub?
Hang out in the bathroom. Put my mirrors in my tubs. That's where I go to hang out.
He was lying face down on the ceramic. I flipped it over and saw 3 huge diagonal cracks branched into the glass with this dark red vicious liquid, which could only be blood, pouring out. Okie dokie. I'll buy that. Mirror's bleeding. I'll buy that.
Makes sense to me.
Maybe the mirror cut itself in the bathtub.
Oh, the mirror's emo.
We need to get the mirror help. Fuck Manny. I dropped the mirror and it shattered all over the bathroom tub.
Dick.
In my panic, I stumbled backwards into the tile, fell down and hit my head. The last thing I remember was looking at the sink of the Bobby bathroom mirror. And someone had clearly written in words, "Never again. Never again.
Never again. You will tell this crappy story.
Never ignore your mirror and not give it attention so it doesn't cut itself."
Dude, I'm just gonna cut myself. Just did it. Was that the end?
Yes.
Oh, that was stupid. Okay, next story. The 1969 railway horror.
Off a railroad.
Bruce and Fred were both decided to get on a train. George let them on. They were waiting for it to start, but it never did. It just sat on the tracks for hours. They got so tired.
Wait. So did George work on the train?
I guess. I don't know. Bruce shouted at George to start the train up. He said, "It's
So he works on the
stuck."
train and he's the conductor?
He was on the train.
He's the doorman and the conductor? That's some great management skills where he was fucking managing the train track.
He said
and
it's
he's
only
a fucking
stuck.
vendor too?
Bruce then shook. Fred shouted in excitement, "Hey! The train is starting! The journey started!" The train went under the tunnel and got stuck again. Fred and Bruce jumped off the train.
He doesn't build a train tall enough. Did he build a train as well?
They ran back to the station. Since another train was coming, at some point the train was only 1 foot away. The hell? I'm already confused.
I'm confused.
Bruce and Fred went to the station to get another train. The train was meant to lift a platform down, but instead
Are you just
it came...
taking trains now? A train is open for conductors / vendors / door openers / train builders to just take their fucking will.
The train was meant to lift a platform down, but instead it came flying out the balcony. Chris from the second class and Bruce from the third class were the only survivors. They knew they knew it was about to crash, so they jumped back onto the balcony. Bruce was crying for hours since George, his flatmate who drove it, and Fred, his closest fisherman friend, had died.
So they just lost a conductor / train builder / vendor / door opener. Is that the story?
No, there's more. He was horrified to get another. He cried his head off.
To get another what?
His head and fell onto the tracks and never realized where he was. He didn't see or hear the train.
How many trains are on this track?
This is a bomb-ass train station.
Is this a train convoy?
They came and splat him open. Everyone was shocked.
They would really splat you open and we're like, go poop, and you would just be everywhere.
Everybody was shocked. They all looked at the track for ages and seeing the train that crashed out the balcony and dead people inside.
More importantly, how did a train get on a balcony?
I don't know. The body of
train works.
George was very weird looking at his death. He looked as if he had been caught halfway in a closing elevator. Bruce ran home and spent his day crying. He switched TV on, seeing footage of the train crashing, and as he watched it, he noticed something very strange. It paused quick, and on the pause, it showed what looked like Fred and George falling out of the train with a claw in the train after them. But this couldn't be right.
A claw in the train after them?
He
Just
really
a claw.
Wanted his TV to work, but it never did. Well, it did at some point. The pause stopped. He never believed his eyes in the next bit. He happened to look in the exact spot. Faces looking out the windows, moaning. And he saw himself. And this is the weird bit. He saw himself smash the train and jump onto the balcony. However, he appeared to be in first class and was wearing the hat he had lost in the wind the previous day.
What?
He switched channel and saw the most horrid sight in his life.
Besides his friends being smashed to death by a train that just jumped off a balcony because it was probably suicidal.
And an interview of the two people that died actually together. He just thought that this was plain weird. He went back to the station. The train was still there. He went inside to look for the monster thing, but nothing was there except 3 human hearts.
Just end it here.
That was the end. That was the end for that one.
That's the end.
This was the end. I have like a pile. Do we just continue?
All right, Dean. Just end.
Oh.
That was plenty.